In this video, I'm going to show a traditional gym exercise, a bench dip, and I'm going to examine it from a little bit of a PRI perspective and which means a human asymmetry perspective. But one thing with the bench dip, what you're going to see is if you're familiar with what bench dips are, you'll know that your hands are behind you on the bench and your feet are on the ground. What people may not think much of is that triceps, so it's generally uh, thought of as a tricep dominant exercise. There'll probably be some pec in it also, and maybe lats, depending on how you do it. But let's just say triceps, okay? Triceps are meant to work with hamstrings. All right, so in the walking cycle, when your left heel, so when my left heel hits the ground and the hamstring engages to pull the pelvis back on the left, as that forward momentum is occurring over my left foot, the right arm has to swing back to allow for the torso to rotate to the right. And that's how we move. The pelvis goes to the left, stabilizes as the torso goes to the right in a stabilized way. The right tricep is drawing the right arm back into extension, which allows for the torso to rotate without us arching our back. When people don't have an active right tricep and active right trap, which is called the right BC pattern when those muscles are inactive, they cannot rotate their torso to the right without arching their back, which then brings their pelvis forward too early, and now they're back into this left AIC, right BC pattern. So hamstrings, that left hamstring relies to fulfill its complete duty. That left hamstring, in order to hold that pelvis back long enough through the step on your left foot, needs the right tricep to work in conjunction with it to produce counter rotation to the right without using your neck and without using your back. If either of those components aren't there, and I know for a lot of people watching this video, they're not because you're watching these videos, the only way you can rotate your body is through extension. Now, so the hamstrings and the triceps are meant to work together. So you can do a bench dip, which ostensibly is for the triceps, while also engaging your hamstrings at the same time. All you have to do, and you should, because that would make a lot more sense to the human body than just doing something for the triceps without really paying much attention to the hamstrings. So just having your feet flat on the floor, just never really thinking about the feet, just having the feet as an afterthought, and they should never be an afterthought. But if they are just an afterthought, you're not going to get a great exercise out of it because your brain really can't make sense of why you're using these triceps. But if your brain is sensing the ground through the heels, which then will give hamstring activity, your brain can associate hamstring activity with tricep activity, and it'll make a lot more sense, and you'll probably get a better exercise out of it. So I'm just going to show it, and I'm going to narrate. And here we are. I'm on the bench. I push myself up. I draw my shoulder blades back and down. Through my heels, I bring my knees forward, and that's it. And you just stay in that position. You should be sensing your hamstrings the entire time and your triceps the entire time. I also feel a little bit of scapular musculature. And this is not easy because I'm not letting my back arch. If my back arched, it would probably be a lot easier. My abdominals are engaged, although I don't feel them heavily. How do you know they're engaged if you're not really feeling them? Because I'm feeling my hamstrings and I'm feeling my triceps. If I did not feel my hamstrings or my triceps, because the abs, your abdominals, especially the internal obliques, are integrating your pelvis with your rib cage. If those abs are not integrated, then your arm function, your leg function is not fully integrated, and there's a disconnect. So because I'm feeling the proper muscles, I know those abs are doing what they need to do. They need to hold that pelvis in front and the ribcage in front closer together as I'm using my appendages so that my back doesn't extend and my neck doesn't turn on. That's how you know you're doing it correct or you're not doing it. And I'm not saying correctly as you might be doing the movement properly, but if you're not feeling the triceps and you're not sensing the hamstrings being engaged, or if you're feeling other muscles, particularly your neck, you know you're not stable enough to do it. In that case, you would want a PRI program to allow that to occur. So that's kind of the way I look at things. And you could try it out and see what you feel. I'd be interested to know what people are feeling and if you don't feel it, well, you need more hamstring activity, abdominal activity, and triceps in a flexed state. And again, that's mostly what almost all PRI techniques are having you do, so that when you do a ostensibly neutral exercise where you're trying to keep your body just in a neutral position, it will work a lot better. Because if you're stuck in extension, if you're in extension while you're trying to do it, you're not going to get the proper muscular activity that you're looking for. And again, remember, even though I say this is bilateral, because of this picture, the bigger right diaphragm and the smaller left diaphragm, it's never truly bilateral. The inside of you is not the same on both sides of that spine. The right side of your body and the left side of your body will never be the same because of that, not only that diaphragm, but also remember the visual system. Our brain is paying attention to more right side environment than to the left, so our body will want to turn right more than it will to the left. So just always remember that we're always going to have visual influences and respiratory influences that will always prevent a bilateral exercise from being truly bilateral because we're completely asymmetrical. So hope you just gives you some thoughts on how you can reorganize your traditional strength training exercises and make them slightly better.